I remember those days when Casey Neistat used to unbox packages in his YouTube videos, and I thought to myself in my young foolishness, that's so cool. And on a few occasions I did have companies sending stuff in, but you know, it's never like no strings attached, right? I always made sure that I'm not obliged to say anything about a given product. But even with that, you're kind of feeling like, you know, you have some kind of responsibility towards someone. It would be so much better to have my own product, and that's how I started with Essential Motion presets, the Adding Chef course. But a few days ago I got this package, and it's kind of special to me, so let me explain. The first video ever that I posted on this channel was a review of Logic keyboard I won in Jason Boone's giveaway. Since that time we became friends, we talk on like semi-regular basis with Jason. He used to create Premiere Pro tutorials back then. Now he transitioned to map making, map creation in After Effects and stuff like that. I think he's the best in the niche, so follow his channel if you're into this stuff. But another creator that I got to know over the years is Premier Gal, Kelsey. And inside this box is her keyboard, the one that she made in a collaboration with Editor's Keys. So I thought I have to compare the two. Now a disclaimer, I did not promise any video to Kelsey. Also I can say whatever I want, and I will, even though we know each other, but you know, I know that she's gonna respect me if I tell an honest truth, even if this product sucks, which I'm sure it doesn't. But I'm also sure that I will find some like drawbacks, like, you know, things that I would have done differently. And actually related, unrelated, I got this micro blade from Micro Carry. I have no correlations with them whatsoever. I paid my own money for this. It just looks like a very cool product, so let's see it. It comes in this box which looks like old-fashioned like a film stock, right? Let me open it. Okay, and there it is. It's super small. You can attach it to your keys. Basically, you pull it and there is a blade for opening packages and stuff like that. And by the way, I also want to talk about Artlist, a music service that I have been recommending to people for quite some time. But recently my license for Artlist has finished and I was contemplating changing to something else. The main reason for that is that there are services that give you like stem tracks, a track for each instrument, which is very helpful when editing, when you want to like, you know, adjust, customize the music track. Alibi is the one that I was looking into. It does have stem tracks, but it turns out the decision is not so easy. The main reason for that, licensing terms. And to be honest, if the cost wouldn't be a factor when I'm making the decision, I would probably go with Alibi. But when I want to have a music track licensed for like commercial usage, then Artlist simply wins the race. They are introducing a lot of new features. If you select a given stock footage, it gives you AI recommendations for sound effects you could use alongside. Very cool usage of AI-driven technology. And the thing that I love about it the most is just how simple the license terms are. I have never had any problems when using their music or stock footage for that matter, but if I had one wish to make the Artlist even better, it would be that at least some of the tracks would include stem tracks as well, right? To separate all of the instruments so that I can adjust, customize the music however I want to. Enough talking, I won't even get to this keyboard if it goes this way. And obviously I'm gonna use it a few times before I like sit by the camera again to record my kind of like review, right? And compare it to Logic keyboard. But right now let's just see like my first impressions when holding it, right? And the box quality is not as great as for Logic keyboard, to be honest. I think the unboxing experience for Logic keyboard is actually a little bit better. But we're not here for the box, are we? Oh boy, it looks good. Much more compact. It feels like iBook, I think. Is it actually a metal? I think it is. There is on and off switch button over here, which I don't have on Logic keyboard. And this is wireless. So this is like the thing that I'm most excited about, because Logic keyboard, yeah, you do have to have a cable on it, which actually, you know, has one very cool usage, because I have like USB port in the keyboard, which is very useful sometimes when I want to like, you know, drop the footage from like the card reader, right? But it's always on the cable, and actually it uses two USB ports in my computer, which is a little bit bit frustrating, to be honest. I could have, been using these for like connecting external hard drives and so on. So the whole point of like, having a USB port here is good, but at the same time, it's just like, and I happen to have like extension for USB on my desk anyway. So if I don't have it on my keyboard, I'll be good. Now, another thing is that I think it's smaller, which I'm not sure how I'm gonna like. Once I will use it for a few days, we'll see. I'll let you know. There is USB-C port over here, which will be used for like charging the keyboard. And the color coding for shortcuts and stuff like that actually makes a lot of sense. Like whichever shortcuts is used with Shift will have like a yellow label on it. Very cool. But at the same time, if you watch my channel, you know that like for any intermediate and above user, shortcuts on the keyboard are not really that useful because we use custom shortcuts anyway. Like default shortcuts are fine for beginners, but not so great when you're trying to make things as efficient as possible. And this goes both for Premiere Gal's keyboard and Logic Keyboard over here. So to summarize my first impressions, I love the Bluetooth connection, the build quality is great, we have on and off switch over here, and it's very compact. So yeah, I'm gonna use it for a few days, and I'm gonna let you know how I like it. There is another USB-C cable to my collection and some instructions, of course, on how to pair a keyboard with a computer and so on. I'll be fine without it. Okay, so I've used this keyboard for a week now, and I guess it's time to compare the two. And I have to tell you right away that the choice won't be easy. So first, connectivity, right? I love that this one is Bluetooth connected, not via like this, like, thick cable with, again, two USBs, but I have to admit that now I understand why this cable actually exists. It wouldn't connect from all of the spots on my desk, so I had to like move it a little bit so that it now connects really well. I don't have any experience with other Bluetooth keyboards, so I'm not sure how it compares with like Logitech, for example, or something like that. So basically there shouldn't be like any big obstacles between the keyboard and, your machine. But the next drawback is the sleep mode. This thing runs out of the battery, right? So after not using it for more than 30 minutes, it goes into a sleep mode. And then once you want to use it, it needs like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 seconds in my experience to wake up again, which is fine, not a big deal at all. But being, used to a keyboard that works right away, it was a little bit surprising to me at first, which I know I shouldn't be. The next aspect are features. Both keyboards are backlit. I love it. Both have like a few tabs where you can like dim it down or up. But this one works with 3 devices at the same time. I mean, you use these buttons basically to switch between like, let's say my PC, my other PC, and my phone, for example. Or it could be laptop. But the ability to use one keyboard to rule them all.
One ring to rule them all.
This is great. And by the way, this is supposed to run 3 months on 1 battery charge, which is very good. I haven't used it for so long, so I'm not sure if it's like super accurate, but it's an estimate. And function keys have already like some commands like pre-assigned to them, which is also quite useful, I would say. Although if you want to call out F1, for example, like a regular F1 on Windows, right? You have to hold function key first. It's more like a laptop behavior, I would say. Also, this one works both on Windows and Mac, which is pretty cool. Logic Keyboard that I have only works for Windows, or at least you don't have those like command buttons and so on. Maybe it does work on Mac, I don't know, I'm not really sure. But this one has like a command and option button, so it's clearly supposed to be used with Mac as well. By far, my favorite feature is the ability to switch between devices with one press of the button. A concern that I had is a form factor, so this one is much more compact, and I wondered how it would feel to actually use it. But I have to admit that there is not really that big of a difference, but there isn't any spacing between the numbers row, for example, and the F keys rows. Taking all of this into account, the choice between those two is not easy. There is no any noticeable lag when it comes to Bluetooth connectivity, but I have to be mindful where I put the keyboard. It doesn't work perfectly anywhere because of those obstacles on the desk and so on. And one thing that I guess is better about this Logic keyboard is how durable it is. Like, you can replace single keys if needed. I don't think you can do it with this one. And it's bigger, but it's also a little bit sturdier, I guess. So what I'm trying to say is that one of those is not necessarily replacing the other. At least in my case, I thought that I would actually like, choose one and then sell the other, but I'm not gonna do this because this one, like really the sturdiness of this and the form factor makes it a little bit more comfortable. Like, the distance between the keys over here, like it feels a little bit better when you're using it for a long time. But it's quite big and chunky and you can't really move it around and you can't switch between other machines, which is a feature I absolutely love. So both are staying in my editing bay, but for now I'll be using this one just to have more space on my desk, to free up some USB ports in my PC and to be able to switch between other devices. Once again, I don't think that, those shortcuts that are labeled on the keys are really that useful. I mean, they are if you're starting out, which is like completely fine, that it will be actually helpful to learn default keyboard shortcuts. But remember, these are just keyboards. If you're trying to invest in your skills, hardware is just like not the first priority, I would say. And by the way, about Artlist, if you use my link, my affiliate link in the description, you get, I think, like 2 months extra on your subscription. So if you're gonna get it anyway, use this link. It's beneficial to both of us. Take care, and I'm gonna see you the next time. Bye.